It's not just local, it is world news, and we are watching babies being burned. We are watching babies, children being pulled from the rubble of buildings that have been absolutely leveled after spending days under that. How the can you call yourself a political left-wing band if you are not speaking up for people that have no voice at the moment? It's a cowardly thing. So idols, Sleaford mods, and every single one of those apolitical bands that don't want to speak up when there's something a little bit iffy, a little bit touchy, a little bit sensitive, and you've got a bull album to sell. That. We can't respect that at all.
Bob Vylan has been speaking out for a hot minute, thus the events at Glastonbury are nothing new.
Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free!
That was British punk rap duo Bob Vylan expressing their support for Palestinians at Glastonbury, Britain's biggest music festival.
Bob Vylan further led the crowd in a chant of death, death to the IDF, referring to Israel's military, the Israel Defense Forces. The Trump administration sent a strong message against the band's inflammatory remarks by revoking their U.S. visas. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau wrote on X, the State Department has revoked the U.S. visas for the members of the Bob Vylan band in light of their hateful tirade at Glastonbury, including leading the crowd in death chants. Foreigners who glorify violence and hatred are not welcome visitors to our country.
Bobby Vylan, one of the performers, defended his remarks in an Instagram post on Sunday that was captioned, "I said what I said." Vylan wrote in his post in part, "Teaching our children to speak up for the change they want and need is the only way that we make this world a better place. Let us display to them, loudly and visibly, the right thing to do when we want change and need change."
However, the reaction from major media outlets has been one that is symbolic of the anti-free speech, pro-cancel culture crowd.
I mean, I'm not Jewish, but if I was Jewish living in the United Kingdom, there aren't that many Jews in England, it's 300,000 maybe. I would have felt very unnerved watching an English music crowd, thousands of them chanting death to, fellow Jews. Now, you might try and distinguish it with IDF, but we all know what he meant. He was saying, go and kill Israeli soldiers. Right now, and I would say, in the Ukraine war, I feel that Vladimir Putin waged an illegal invasion of a sovereign democratic country, and it's completely outrageous. But I don't wish death on Russian soldiers who are doing his dirty work. I think you've got to be, like I did when I opposed the Iraq war, I didn't blame the UK troops. I blame the government that sent them. They do what they're told.
We need to keep the focus on the genocide. If a military entity is committing a genocide, yes, they want death to that military entity.
This is the point that unfortunately is lost on the Piers Morgans of the world.
I don't think that this is anything to do with solidarity with Palestinians. This is an embrace of extremism, and perhaps it's coming from a place where people are frustrated by things, and frustration may be legitimate, but that doesn't legitimize condoning the use of terrorism for political purposes. A lot of the problem that they're facing on the ground in Gaza is coming from Hamas. It's coming from the corruption of Hamas. It's coming from the fact that they have stolen aid. They have shot Palestinians in the process of doing so. And one of the only bodies, that's not true. There's plenty of evidence. Look at Arabic social media. There's plenty of evidence. In addition to that, it's the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Where's the authorities? Where are the authorities speaking that Hamas is to blame?
That has sent out millions of meals to Palestinians in need in the Gaza Strip, including just in the past few days, millions of meals were distributed. The controversy has arisen because there are multiple groups who have been trying to get to these points at the same time. In addition to the fact he mentioned the article in Haaretz, this is something that the IDF flat out denied. In addition to that, they stated that they're...
No wonder she was called disgusting, said she lacks humanity, and is a defender of G's side on Piers Morgan. This is also a person who was criticized for broadcasting a message condoning strikes on Iranian state TV stations. When those strikes took place, she thanked the IDF for doing them. Of course, what continues to be lost through the discourse is the fact that Bob Vylan has had their U.S. tour canceled, Their European tour shelved, they have been dropped by their talent agency, and yet more action has been taken on a musical group than the US's strongest ally in the Middle East.
The fact that there are like problems and issues that we address via our music, and like when we're on stage, you know, we're talking about things that are personal to us, and we're talking about like real life interactions with these issues and problems that we're facing and have faced, you know. So it's not really, I suppose, like a case of summoning the anger or the rage, because the rage is there when you think of those things, do you know what I mean? Because like they're things that we should, as everybody should, be angry about, right? Like, like miscarriages of justice, like racial abuse, like whatever it is that kind of like is a ill of our society, like we should be angry at that.
In effect, Bob Vylan, being public enemy number one, has actually helped them. Take a look at their monthly listeners. At the beginning of the month, they were at about 177,000, along with 89,816 listed as the follower count. As of this taping, the monthly listeners are bordering on 400,000, and the followers have grown to over 133,000.
The government of this country doesn't really care about the arts. That's why the maths teacher is teaching music. Remember, was it during COVID when they were like, you're a musician, you might want to like think about getting a real job. It's like, well, okay, that kind of tells you all you need to know. They should have government support, but we're never going to get that.
With a Labour government, none of that stuff will happen.
What Labour government, bro? I don't see no Labour. You don't see the Labour government around here. I don't see the Labour government, bro. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like.
A really good message from one Twitter user would read as follows. The appropriate role of artists, creators, writers, performers, and all of those who expand the boundaries of our thought, imagination, and understanding, such as Bob Vylan, is always and ever to challenge authority. It is never, ever to serve or to pander to authority.
My name is Grandson, and I am putting out an album called Inertia, featuring Bob Vylan, and going on a month-long US tour with Bob Vylan opening for me. As a Jewish artist, I had a couple thoughts I wanted to share. I think that censorship of art is and will always be a tactic of control that is used to normalize and justify an increase in authoritarianism, whether that's an increase in surveillance, an increase in police presence. Artists serve as a canary in the coal mine, telling us in pop culture about the dangers that society is presenting against us. And I think as a Jewish artist, I am deeply offended by the conflation of the indiscriminate violence of a military force with anti-Semitism. There is nothing that has done more to exacerbate and make worse anti-Semitism around the world right now than what the Israeli government is doing to the Palestinian people in response to what happened on October 7th. So I stand with Bob Vylan. They will continue to be on my record, and should their visa make it possible for them to come to America, I look forward to rocking stages across North America with my bros in Bob Vylan. If you have an opinion about it, resistance rock forever. Let's go.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/tytsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.